Hello everyone and welcome to the Ask Barry V Show. I'm Barry Vanover. This is Miles Baker. It's been a while. We went 2 weeks without a show.
Yep.
I was traveling 1 week and missed, and then last week was kind of the holiday weekend. I was traveling again, so
ready to get back on track.
Yeah, we got a few extra questions trying to meet everybody's needs that have asked questions. So glad to be back. Sorry we took 2 weeks off. I think that's the first time in this whole year. We started this January.
Yeah.
The first time the whole year that we've missed 2 weeks in a row.
Yep.
All right, so what's going on in the martial arts industry? This is 1st of September. So back to school in the South is done. It's over. 3 weeks after school is in session, the concept of back to school is finished. Now up in the North, you've got 3 more weeks because your school just started. I was up in New York in Long Island, and their school were starting today,
This
Wednesday,
week.
as we're recording this. So owners, you got 3 weeks to continue using the concept of back to school. Back to school karate for concentration workshops, back to school specials on Facebook, back to school this, back to school that. 3 weeks, it's done and over. So, you know, what in the South, what we're focusing on, we can't use the word and the term back to school anymore. But what I wanted to talk about of what's going on in the martial arts industry today is encourage everyone to make a plan of how you're going to network or affect your local public and private schools the first semester of this year. First semester is so crucial because it's easier to sign parents and students up, okay, because they feel like they have the rest of the school year to do the activity. Because it becomes increasingly harder when we're dealing with the public school to deal with the parents and sign up new students when they feel like that, oh, school's going to be ending in late May or early June. We don't want to start any new activities until summer's over. Right? So a lot of times it's easier to get in and work with the public schools, especially school talks, the second semester. But I think it's crucial and very important that we try to do it the first semester. So in our staff meeting with me and my team here for our 5 locations, we were working on how our managers are going to work with the public schools. I was focusing them all on making sure they find out about the elementary schools enrichment programs and can we do the karate enrichment portion of those enrichment programs. Networking with the PE coaches for school talks, guest PE instructor, to be a star letter for getting into the individual teachers' private classrooms, intent to promote letters because we have graduation coming up the end of September. That's another foot in the door for the individual teachers' classes. Contacting the PTAs and talking about fundraising with them. Now's the time to do that the first semester. And there was one more, contacting the PTAs, fall festivals and things like that that's happening where you can set up a booth. You know, and plus the sense of urgency is not only the first semester, but with the freedom of information online and on Facebook and social media for martial arts consulting. Think how many schools listen to what I just said, and you want to beat those guys to the punch for the enrichment programs, for the PE departments, for all of the things that I just mentioned. You want to be there, be first, and be the best, right? So that's so important. So that's kind of what's going on in the martial arts industry. That's what I would be focusing on currently right now. Besides your normal daily activities, I would be focusing on how to work with the public schools for the first semester of this year. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into. We have a few extra questions.
We do have some extra questions this week. The first one came from Richard. Richard N. asked, he says, I'm having some problems with my upgrading systems. Any advice on how to revamp them?
That's I always say that questions are broad, but they are broad. So you're not exactly sure, without having a conversation with Richard, what the problem with his upgrading systems may be. And I would say, first thing is I would look at your organization of your upgrading. The managerial, the clerical portions, like are you setting a goal and scheduling and picking a list of students to target for upgrades on the 15th of the month before? So 15th of August, did you sit down and make your list of students that you feel deserve and are ready for any of the different upgrade programs that you might have that you're going to target in September, right? And then scheduling the appointments, and do you do the progress checks and placement evaluations? Are you handing out the certificate of acceptance to highlight the child and make it exciting? Mm-hmm. You know, all of those are you pre-framing the parent and pre-framing the child? All those important pre-steps. And then the actual upgrade program itself. What are you offering? You know, in order to get someone to pay more for something and to continue paying more often, you have to have something of value. Are you producing and offering enough value in your upgrade programs? What is the extra curriculum, the different uniform? Are you doing things to make the black belt training program or your, I don't know, your elite training programs or leadership, whatever you guys call your upgrade programs, making it special? Are you doing a good job? And then there's the whole concept of marketing and promoting those. Are you doing a good job of promoting those things? Are you highlighting the students that just upgraded to black belt training by giving out their uniform at the beginning of the next class? Right, and letting the other students be reminded about the programs.
Announcements and social media.
Yeah, so Richard, there's so many different things that make up really good upgrading. But I will tell you one more thing: is amazing classes to begin with. People aren't going to pay more money, commit to a longer period of time for the same perceived value. If they're not happy with what's going on the classroom floor right now, if those classes aren't super exciting, they don't want to upgrade. They don't want to talk about paying more and committing to a longer period of time. So also look at what's happening on your classroom floor. So there's some ideas that you could look in different areas of your upgrading and see if it needs a little more time, a little more attention.
Our next question.
Am I talking too fast?
No, I'm just excited for our next question.
Okay, cool.
It's because it's a good question. Great question. So Blake K asks, he says, I'm thinking of using a consulting company. Why should I use yours over the others? So great question.
It's a good
Valid
question.
to the point.
There's some really good consultants
Heck yeah,
out
there
there,
are.
and
Yeah.
there are really good companies out
Absolutely.
there. So, and you know what? I'm not going to say why you should use ours over another company. So I'm not going to compare other companies or other consultants. I would say, let's talk about some things to be wary of. If wary is wary a word?
Sure. No.
Wary the right word? Okay. Be careful when a consulting dude is telling you all the things you want to hear. So, some school owners, let's take a simple example. They feel like they have challenges of getting a student to sign a membership. So when a consultant comes along and goes, no more memberships, you don't have to have your students sign memberships, everybody can be month to month, then that owner, who already may be having a struggle with that,
Definitely
thinks,
drawn to the-
all right, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't realize the effect. One, he doesn't know if the guy's really using memberships. Two, he doesn't know his out clause. Three, is that the best for your business, right? So, some guys will say no upgrading, because they haven't either figured out how to upgrade or don't understand it themselves, or they have problems with it. And when they hear a consultant go, no upgrading, I want to do that, so be careful about hearing things that you want to hear, or taking advice of if somebody's saying everything you want to hear all the time, because the important things, the things that's going to make you better in your business aren't always the easy things. Matter of fact, they're usually not. And that shows why certain people are successful and certain people are not. If this stuff was easy, everybody would be rocking it out, but it's not. So that's one thing is kind of be careful of. I would be careful of when a group of consultants from a consulting company all teach different things.
Right.
Like they don't even have systems in their own consulting company that this is the way to do 2-lesson program. This is the way to teach class. This is the way to do marketing. This is, I would be careful when they don't, even their own consultants teach different aspects. I'll be a little careful there probably. But the most important thing is finding somebody that has achieved the success you have. So what is their achievements? We have 76 premier martial arts schools that run our systems, and I can give somebody phone numbers of tons and tons of school owners to see their results. They can hear that Al Garza did some crazy $187,000 gross revenue last month alone, $187,000, and in 2 locations, and they can call Al and find out, or they can find out why one of our guys that only has 140 students did $35,000 last month. Those types of things.
So social proof.
Check out their social proof and background. And then I would say, what are you wanting? More importantly, what are you wanting in consulting? If you're wanting complete systems from A to Z, find a place that offers that. If you're wanting somebody that specializes in a certain area that you're focusing on or that you need, maybe you got your classroom floor rocking. Maybe you need help with web design and digital marketing and Facebook marketing. Finding a company that is amazing at that, and then go with them, man. Go with the people that's going to be able to help you the most. So there's a little advice. There's some not so good consulting people and companies out there, but there's just as many great ones, and we're not the only one. So I would just find, and the relationship. Who is it that you feel comfortable to talk to and spend some time with? Because you're going to spend a lot of time consulting with them.
Yeah.
Who are you going to feel comfortable with, and who motivates you? You know, what are they going to help keep you high and keep you motivated? I don't think keeping you high is the right word. That's
Highly motivated.
That's a different service, but highly motivated to keep you doing and working hard at all the things you're going to have to do to get to that next level. So there's some tips.
I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, maybe we'll hear from Blake soon. All right, so
Yeah, by the way, give us a call and we'll be glad to share that with you, Blake. I'm totally forgot about the actual sell that I had right there that I could have made.
Our next question for this week came from Aaron. Aaron asked, he says, I have a severely ADD student in my class, and I have implemented the normal correction steps that you have taught several times with no results. The parents admit that this is a problem and that they are aware of my struggling with him in class. What should I do?
Okay, so he's already done the basic 5 correction steps several times.
Sounds like it.
He's
He
having
understands how to correct a child.
And
yeah.
the parents are all understand the issue that he's having in class with their child.
Yep.
I would be asking the parent for help. I would be trying to come up with a system that if the parent knows that you're struggling, which I'm glad they do, because if not, they need to know that this child's disrupting my class and it's a struggle, it's extra work for me, but I'm hanging in there with you, mom and dad, because I believe in our program and you must be getting something out of this, your child must be getting something out of this, or you still wouldn't be here. But honestly, I would be asking the parent for help. I would have a system of when that child's disruptive to the point that it's causing problems in the class, that you have a cue and that parent understands the parent needs to be sitting in class watching, and that you have the freedom to set that child out beside mom and dad anytime you want, no questions asked, and you don't need to explain your actions. And let mom and dad have a chance to refocus the child. And it gave the child a timeout and allowed you to go on and service the current students that you have. And hopefully by doing that, over a period of time, the child stays in the class longer and longer, doesn't have to go out every day, just on certain times when he's having a bad day, you know, and get the parent more involved. Because it sounds like you have a great set of parents here that love your program and think it's helping your child. You just need to communicate with them, and you guys come up with a little system that they can aid you in keeping control of your class and bringing the child in and out when you see fit without worrying about what they're thinking. That's probably the step I would take on that.
I think so, and I think that it's a great opportunity for Aaron. You know, any parent that has a child with a disability, it's very difficult for him, and the fact that you're going to stick in it with them and try to come up with a plan, they're going to tell anybody and everybody about that. That's going to mean the world to those parents. Yeah. So this is a great opportunity as well.
And another thing, if you do remove the child, don't make a big deal about it, because sometimes kids thrive on the attention you're giving them, and they're acting out to get attention because you're making it fun when you remove the child. When you remove the child, you should be like a ninja. It should be, boom, he's gone. You know, he's from here to here with no attention on him whatsoever in the class, so that he's not kind of doing the bad behavior to get some kind of weird reward or attention, so to speak, you know?
Absolutely. All right, 2 more questions for this week. Next one is from Karen K. She goes, how do you feel about starting a BJJ program at a karate school?
Well, if it's BJJ specifically, I think it's an awesome idea. You know, I think Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is an amazing accompaniment to any, for Krav Maga and karate and whatever, and BJJ is getting more and more popular. And, you know, we have a program in all of our, not all of our premier martial arts schools, the school owners that want it and have time for it, well, we have the curriculum for them and the training for them as well. So we think a lot about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and we're raving fans. I think more important, the question should be reframed as, what do I think about sub-programs, not just Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Let's say you're a sport karate school and you want to start a Krav Maga program a couple nights a week, or you want to start a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or you want to start a kickboxing fitness program a few nights a week, or any other sub-program. First, understand what's making you your money, and let that be the most important thing. Give that the prime time. Give that the prime attention. That's how you're feeding your family, you're feeding your staff, and becoming successful. Don't start a sub-program just because you want to or you have a liking for it that disrupts how you normally make your money, right? Don't sacrifice the way you set up your upgrade systems in your school just to squeeze in an extra program. So my answer to that is if you have the time in your schedule and the staffing, and it doesn't affect your main program, then of course have these sub-programs. You know, if you want to, and especially if you can use sub-programs at off-peak times, like 9:30 in the morning for a cross kick program or a martial arts fitness program, and you know, a 3 and 4 year old program at 2:30 in the afternoon or 3 o'clock before prime time starts. Or if you've got a time between 8 and 9 o'clock at night a couple of days a week where you want to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or whatever the time is that doesn't affect your main thing, then absolutely do it, of course. I would add, don't make things more complicated on your current staff. You know, keep things simple. So if with all those conditions in play, then I think it's a great idea.
Last question for this week comes from Tim. Tim M asks, what do you think your price per student per month should be?
Price per student per month. He's asking price per student value, I think.
Average student value, yeah.
Yeah, average student value. Oh man, there's another one that is really broad, okay? Because our systems in Premier dictate that we do get quite a few paid in full memberships. Right. We don't go hard after them, but we do get them. So 1 month we may get more paid in fulls on upgrades than we did last month, and it blows our price per student value high that month. You know, if you're trying to figure out your price per student value, you've got to kind of remove the paid in fulls out of that equation, and you've got to add, you know, tuition and equipment average equipment sales and test fee, and you're looking at what that student actually means per month to you. Price per student value is really taking your overall gross revenue and dividing it by the number of students that you have. So, you know, but I think a good price per value that you should, total gross profit, or I'm not gross profit, I'm talking total gross revenue divided by number of students, should be for sure $175, $200 a month. You know, I know schools that are $240, $250 a month. So, but 175 to 200, if you're in that range, I think you're doing a great job.
And that's going to be different in the regions of the country too, right? Probably.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
But remember, price per student value, yeah, that's important to kind of get an eye on. But you know, more importantly, it's not even gross revenue. You know, gross revenue is important, of course. Yep. We keep an eye on that. But the real deal is net profit. Yep. How much money are you putting in your pocket? Yeah. How much money are you making? I personally, I used to have the 600 student school, 550 students. My billing check was $40,000 18 years ago, and then all the cash on top of it. And just from two normal martial arts schools, they were big schools. And we're fighting the fight, man. You have to sign up 30 people a month to maintain 500 students. You know, you're fighting that fight. You're fighting. I would much rather have 150 students, 130 students, but me netting and putting in my pocket more money. Because your life is easier, you service your students better, quality of life, quality of experience for student is so much better. And honestly, with good business systems, you don't need 500-600 students to make a lot of money. You know, more students sometimes means more staffing, larger facilities, more expenses. You know, so just be careful with that. So hopefully that answered what Tim's question. Yep. All right, guys. Any type of announcements would just be in 4 weeks we have our martial arts management group and Premier Martial Arts Business and Training Symposium here at our headquarters in Knoxville, Tennessee. All you guys are invited. You can check our website out at mamgsym.com. Check out and see if you guys would like to join us for that training. We got great martial arts training, great Krav Maga, great kickboxing, great jiu-jitsu, great business systems training all happening. So I think that's all of the announcements that I have. If you guys need anything, please send us your questions to ceo@barryvanover.com, and we would love to add them to the next show.